Hi, James Hayes, Don's Appliances. Today I'm joined by my friend Rob Sobek.
Hi.
So today we're going to talk about appliance disaster stories, but not necessarily the manufacturer's issue, but more misuse by the consumer and things that could potentially go wrong there. So where do you want to start at, Rob?
I mean, this is the short version of the podcast. I feel like we need a much longer one for this, but we can truncate it here.
Yeah.
Appliance disasters. I really think that the 101 of this right now in the industry we're in is definitely about laundry. Specifically front load, but top load too. The pods are killing the machines.
Sure.
The pumps are getting destroyed. Seals, gaskets, bearings, you name it. These pods are terrible for the machines because 90% of cycles that are being ran are ran on cool or colder.
Yeah, and then the plastic doesn't dissolve, goes into the pump, and yeah, that's bad news for everybody.
And it's just way too much soap if it does dissolve.
It is, yeah. So yeah, that I was actually thinking like front load laundry when I have someone come in and be like, I have mold and mildew and everything in my machine. Good chance that they're using too much detergent. And if you're someone that likes to use a pod, one pod's kind of pushing it. I know people that like to throw two in there. Don't put two in there.
Well, I've seen 2 plus the beads.
Yeah.
The beads. I see people doing beads on top of 2 pods on top of that. So I mean, it's just crazy what we're putting into these machines, and we expect them to work correctly. And beyond that, fabric softener. Terrible for the machine, terrible for your clothes, terrible for you, whether it's the liquid in the washer or the sheets in the dryer. You're coating everything in animal fat, essentially, whenever you add fabric softener.
Yeah. If you have any type of sportswear that wicks, like it'll just ruin it. So don't do that. Another thing, I mean, in general, especially with front load laundry, I mean, you'll see mold and mildew happening in top load laundry too. It's just not quite as noticeable. But
It's
if
hidden,
you,
yeah.
if you tear apart a machine that's been in use for 7 or 8 years, it gets kind of gross on the outside of that drum. But on a front loader, you want to get smells, mold, mildew, any of those sort of things occurring. So when you purchase it, it would be nice if you had a salesperson that kind of walked you through the things that you should be doing to it. But if they do not, maybe jump online. I know that we probably have videos on our YouTube page, but there's all kinds of information on there on the do's and don'ts of taking care of that particular unit. Another thing with laundry, just real quick, overloading.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's really easy to overload a machine. And then, or you're like stuffing a king size comforter in a 4 cubic foot top load washer, and then you're wondering why your suspension system's shot in 2 years. That's it. So, don't put down comforters in any of these machines. Like, it's just a good way to kind of ruin a machine early, and getting the suspension system replaced.
And whether it's top or front, if you're doing suspension, whether it's a rod's job on a top loader, or you're doing the spider on a front loader, bearings on a front loader, it's going to be more than the machine was. Straight up, period.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're overloading, you're just setting yourself up to buy a new machine early.
Okay. So let's move away from laundry real quick. Cooking?
Wall ovens, self-cleaning. So when it comes to self-cleaning, these machines are made to do it. They really only want you to do it once a year at the end of the day. Some brands, like Miele, they are rated up to 1,000 self-cleaning cycles, and we know this, but that doesn't mean you should.
Yeah.
But typically, if you're going to self-clean, A, make sure you take all your racks out, and B, let's do it after the gathering, after the get-together, after the holiday, because if an oven's going to break, typically it's when it's 800 to 1,000 degrees for 4 to 8 hours.
Yeah, 100%. That's now you'll also notice a lot of brands are doing away with the self-cleaning off of the unit, and that's specifically why, with all the electronics and everything inside of there, that's where you're going to run into an issue.
You see a lot of speed clean, a lot of steam clean, aqua lift. It's called a lot of things, but at the end of the day, they're trying to add certain proprietary materials into the porcelain where water and low heat interact and kind of lift the soil up and out of the porcelain to be wiped away.
That brings up a good point. Easy off. Don't use it.
Yeah, easy off, even if it says oven safe. Like, it's not
No,
safe.
I had a gentleman ruin a brand new $10,000 Wolf wall oven using Easy Off in it, and then his wife made him come buy a brand new one 8 months later.
Yeah.
So don't do that.
That's an expensive can of Easy Off right there. And really, we talk about this early and often here at Don's Appliances. We have a ton of information, a ton of content and videos on our YouTube, on our Facebook, on our Instagram, talking about how to self-clean, when to self-clean, what steam cleaning is, what different brand steam cleaning operations look like. So definitely, if you want to learn more about it, we have a lot of content relating to that on our website and on our socials. So pivoting away from that, and kind of circling back on the whole soap talk, is dishwashers.
Sure, same thing. Don't use your pods if you don't have to. I mean, I'm guilty of doing it also, but once again, if for some reason your unit's not getting up to temperature and it's not dissolving properly, it's going to create issues. But even if it is, it's still probably going to create issues. And I get that they're super convenient. And there are brands of detergent out there now that make, I've been using this one called Blue Land. It's like there's no plastic. It's just like a brick of detergent.
Right, and the brick is made of powder, compacted powder detergent. Finish does the same thing.
Yeah, so that would be a better option. What else do you see with dishwashers outside of that?
Well, to that point, you got to use the right soap. And even if you're using the right soap, if you're using the dishwasher wrong, the soap isn't going to dispense. So if you pre-rinse your dishes, which don't, but if you do pre-rinse your dishes, all these dishwashers are going to run that initial fill and test how dirty the water is. If you pre-rinse, it's going to say that it's clean. It's going to basically rinse for 2 hours. That water doesn't get nearly hot enough, and that puck just sits down in your filter cup or where, depending on what dishwasher you have. And the dishes come out dirtier than they were when you put them in.
Yeah. So scrape them, don't pre-rinse them, put them in there, and then, if you can avoid using the pods, then that's the best case scenario.
Right. Scrape, use the right soap, don't pre-rinse, make sure you use Rinse Aid. Those are the big things. And if you're still having issues with like film or deposits and buildup on your clear dishes, in most cases, if you're doing those other things right, it's because you have too hard of water.
Yeah.
And really, when you go to replace your dishwasher, the key there is going to be buying one with a softener.
Which there's more and more of those popping up. Look at the European brands. Europeans love water softeners.
Well, Europeans have been doing softeners and dishwashers before we even started seeing the third rack in the United States.
So what else do we have out there?
Glass
Cooktops?
Glass cooktops. Yeah, I mean,
Don't drop stuff on them.
right. Whenever it comes to whether it's radiant or induction, these ceramic glasses, are there different grades and levels? Sure, but it's not that big of a difference between the low end and the high end when it comes to how rigid this glass is, especially when you come on the corners. With the radiant cooktops, you can have a lot of thermal cracking if you don't drop something on it. But you got to be really careful. You don't want to shift your pots and pans on it either. It's very easy to scratch, whether it's induction or it's radiant.
Yeah, and then if you're going to make the choice to use cast iron on a glass top, just keep in mind that cast iron holds a lot of heat. It gets very hot, and that's a really easy way to cause thermal cracking and stuff inside.
And cast iron's heavy.
It is, yeah. So I mean, I do it, but I just don't run it at a full tilt, high heat all the time. So,
well, and to that point, when it comes to cast iron, the grates and the caps on your gas ranges, you can't clean them with soap and water and let water and soap just stay on the cast iron. It will rust. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Griddles too.
Yeah, there's brands that advertise they're dishwasher safe, and technically they are, but like then all the little
They're
rubber
also technically
pieces.
not cast iron.
Yeah. Well, porcelain coated or
Yeah,
whatever
right.
they're saying. But yeah, the rubber feet are going to fall off, and then you're going to be scratching up your cook surface. And just don't do that either.
We can get you rubber feet from the parts department.
Yeah.
But if you have to buy any new appliances, you have any questions, come to Don's Appliances, see me and James, or go to donsappliances.com.